Hey everyone out there, just coming back to give you a shortened version of the AC podcast to talk about the game last night. I got a lot of thoughts, I got a lot of things to say. Just this division, this game is so hard to watch, man. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Giants, I mean, what are we talking about here? Two bad football teams, excuse me. 1-4-1 coming into the game for the Philadelphia Eagles. 1-5 for the New York Giants. The team leading the division is 2-4. And then the Washington football team, they're 1-5 as well, bringing up the rear as usual. It's just the Eagles, man. The Eagles. You can't make this stuff up with these guys, man. Only in Philadelphia do you witness such mediocrity. I didn't come out of the game feeling good, but you guys already know, I want this team to lose preferably because I just don't see the value in winning this division. I don't see it at all. But there's just some things I want to highlight because, number one, I feel like my man Carson Wentz, he hasn't played great this season. 10 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I'm not going to sit up here and proclaim him to be great or anything like that. But I feel like this man hasn't been appreciated enough. And strictly, I mean, he hasn't been appreciated enough by the Philadelphia Eagles for what he's done and for what they've asked him to do. Because it's a disservice what they've done to this man. And I also want to add context for some of you fans. Because some people, they just been critical of Carson Wentz. Some of you who listen to my podcast have been critical. I just don't appreciate it. Like I said, he's not played stellar. He hasn't played, elite football or anything like that. But he's not a scrub. So I just want to get right to the game first. Eagles won this game 22-21. And the ironic part of it all was I was sitting up in the chair watching the game just hoping and praying that the Eagles weren't going to win this game. I was sitting up there hoping and praying because I'm like, yes, we'll be 1-5-1. The GM, I could see his seat getting warm. He was standing right next to Jeffrey Lurie yesterday at the game. It was a home game. I'm like, oh, Jeffrey Lurie, he's about to, Howie Roseman seat's about to get real warm. I had everything I wanted. And then the Giants decided to give away the game in the last 6 minutes. Eagles were down 11 points. And the New York Giants gave the game away to the Philadelphia Eagles, and Carson Wentz came back and won the game. I was hurt because I just saw our draft stock go from, we were the 9th pick yesterday, and when we won the game, now we're back down to the 19th pick. And Lord knows if that happens, we can't trust Howie Roseman to draft anybody. We can't trust him. Eagles fans know this. Howie Roseman, he's an incompetent GM. It's just... He's just done disservice to his football team, but I'm going to get to him in a minute. I know I've talked about him a lot, but so what? The Eagles won this game 22-21. Ugly game. Eagles struggled on offense for most of the night, just struggling to score. This team, they just struggle to score, man. It's just hilarious watching this team. It was a funny game overall. Daniel Jones getting the turf monster, running for 80 yards and falling down. Eagles have no athletes on defense. None at all. Because Daniel Jones is outrunning the entire defense. It was the funniest thing I saw all night. The funniest thing. But Daniel Jones tripping on the turf monster. Tripping on the turf monster. And then you see Evan Ingram try to give the game away even worse when Daniel Jones, nicknamed Danny Dimes, drops a dime right in Evan Ingram's hands. And this man drops it. Effectively would have won the game, put the Giants in field goal position, could have went up 14. Game would have been over for the Philadelphia Eagles because it was about to be the 2-minute warning almost at that point. But Eagles end up winning this game, and I just want to read you guys the play-by-play of the Eagles' final drive. I just want to read you the play-by-play. No, first let me get to this. Deshaun Jackson, the Eagles' only competent receiver at this point, because the other guys are just practice squad guys, or the scrub that is J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. To this point, Deshaun Jackson goes back to field the punt I assume because the Eagles are gonna try to get better field position when the Giants are punting, because Greg Ward, he's just back there to fair catch. He's not returning punts. So Deshaun Jackson goes back there. You just get him back, and right on cue he gets hurt. Wasn't his fault. Giants player obviously came in with a late hit. Deshaun Jackson rolled his ankle, and he knew immediately that was it for him. But so Carson Wentz on the final drive is working with Travis Fulgham from Old Dominion. He's working with John Hightower, a 5th-round rookie who has dropped a lot of passes this year, mind you. And he's working with Richard Rodgers, the 4th-string tight end. He's working with offensive linemen that are 3rd and 4th. We're down to the 4th left tackle. Andre Dillard went down, Jason Peters went down, Jack Driscoll went dong, and now we are at the 4th-string left tackle. The 4th-string left tackle. Lane Johnson has went down in this game, so Jordan Mailata, I think, has started out at right tackle. Nate Herbig is the 3rd guard to start because Brandon Brooks and Isaac Seumalo are down. The only starter in on the offensive left. The only starter in on the offensive line that's a 1st stringer is Jason Kelsey, and I'm going to get to him in a minute. But Carson Wentz is playing with a 4th-string left tackle, a 3rd-string right tackle, a 3rd-string guard, and there's a 2nd-string backup guard. No, 3rd-string backup guard. My fault. 3rd-string backup guard. So at minimum, he's playing with one starter on the offensive line. Everybody else is at least a 3rd or 4th stringer. This is just hilarious at this point. It's just hilarious the amount of injuries the Eagles have on the offensive line and overall. But you just laugh at the weaponry that this man's working with. And so the first pass, he completes it to Richard Rodgers, the 4th tight end, for 11 yards. Then the 2-minute warning happens. Then he completes a 30-yard pass to Richard Rodgers, the 4th-string tight end again. Then it goes Boston Scott up the middle, a guy who is signed up off the Saints practice squad. Stellar work right there. There's such talent. And then now I get to Jason Kelsey. The Eagles get down into the red zone, like the 1, 2, 3, 4 yard line. Jason Kelsey, the best player left on the Eagles, on the Eagles offensive line, a Pro Bowler, a veteran, commits a face mask penalty on the Giants defensive tackle for 15 yards. So now the Eagles are 1st and goal from the 18, 19 yard line. And I'm thinking at this point, oh, yes, we're not going to score. We're not going to score. And then Carson Wentz throws a dime. It was one of the best throws I've ever seen. Throws a dime to 5'6" Boston Scott, who's being covered by 5'11" Jabril Peppers. He throws a dime to 5'6" Boston Scott, who goes in for the touchdown. And then for the night, the Eagles' leading receivers, Richard Rodgers with 6 catches for 85 yards, the 4th-string tight end. Travis Fulgham from Old Dominion, 5 receptions for 73 yards. And John Hightower, the 5th-round rookie, 1 catch for 59 yards. Those are the astounding receiving numbers. Those are the astounding players that Carson Wentz is working with, in addition to the O-line that has the 4th-string left tackle, a 3rd-string, 2 3rd-string guards, the 1st-string center, and the 3rd-string right tackle. That is the most hilarious thing. I'm sorry, I just gotta laugh. It's just so hilarious because people expect you to actually win with this stuff. They actually expect you to win with that stuff. I don't even need to get into the preparation and the game planning that it takes to get these folks ready, because you just get them up off the street and they barely know the playbook. So, I don't even need to get into that. But it's just funny that the Eagles. It's just that last drive just encapsulates Carson Wentz's entire career with the weaponry he's been working with, because it's a disgrace and a disservice, honestly. But I want to get to Doug Peterson, because I don't know what Doug was doing last night. I don't know what he ate before the game. I don't know if he was inebriated in any type of way, but his red zone play calling was some of the worst play calling I have ever seen in my life. What an atrocious red zone offense. 3 for 8 in the red zone. Carson Wentz throws an interception in the red zone. They got a touchdown on their first red zone trip. Then Carson Wentz throws an interception in the red zone. Then Jake Elliott misses a 28-yard field goal. I don't even normally get into kicking, but if you can make a 28-yard kick, you don't even belong in the league. You don't even belong in the league. But this guy, I'm gonna get to Jake Elliott in a second because this is on Howie Roseman as well. On Howie Roseman. But then you do that. Then you go for it on fourth and goal from the 3, and Hakeem Butler, who the fifth string tight end, the Eagles throw a fade route to him, and he didn't even know which side he was lining up on. And then the Eagles snap the ball and they throw a fade route on 4th and 3 to the guy that has one career NFL snap. This is some of the worst play. Like, what is Doug drawing up over there? And then don't even get me started on the 3rd and goal, the QB power for Carson Wentz. Why are you bringing in Jalen Hurts for that? And then the 2-point conversions, they're just a joke. They're running read options, Carson's getting stopped. Then you try to run quarterback power with Carson, that's getting stopped. Like, do they think, look, Carson Wentz is Cam Newton or something? I'm trying to figure out what the Eagles are doing. And then they bring in Jalen Hurts to pass the ball. What he's not even known for. You've been bringing him in to run it. You let this guy come in, try to I guess it was a run pass option, but it wasn't going to work anyways. You have Jalen Hurts trying to pass the ball. You have an ineligible man downfield, and Jalen Hurts do an incomplete pass anyways. You just can't make this stuff up, man. It's just, I don't know what Doug was seeing. I don't know if he was inebriated in any way, but he needed to be drug tested yesterday for the play calling in the red zone. It was horrendous. 3 for 8. And then you bypass on another field goal to go for it on 4th. That was a drive with Hakeem Butler, the 5th string. It's just all over the place with the Eagles, man. Like, they... Oh, my gosh. Wow. If the Giants had caught one ball, the Eagles would have lost this game. That's all I know. The Giants turned the ball over 3 times, and we only won by 1 point. We didn't cash in on any of the turnovers. We were outgaining the Giants. We doubled up the Giants in yardage in the first half, and we were losing the game. It was just, you just couldn't make this up. And then let me get on this Eagles defense for a minute, who played good for most of the game, pressuring Daniel Jones and whatnot. But they gave up a 15-play, 97-yard touchdown drive to the New York Giants. I'm like, yo. Jim Schwartz, man, how are you giving them 97-yard game? How are you giving them 97-yard touchdown drives to Daniel Jones and the New York Giants? Like, you can't make it up, man. You really cannot make it up. It's really a joke. It's really a joke. But what's even a bigger joke is people talking about, oh, the Eagles have a chance to win this division. This is my greatest fear at this point. The Eagles are going to win this division. My worst fear has come to reality. The Eagles are going to win this division. They're going to have a home playoff game. Not only are they not going to have a top draft pick, but Howie Roseman is going to get to keep his job, and the Eagles are not going to change anything. They're not going to change anything. I'm going to say it again. It is not an accomplishment to win this division. It is not an accomplishment. The Eagles have a commanding, insurmountable lead of 2-4-1. The second place Cowboys are 2-4. The Giants are 1-6, and the Washington football team most likely will be they're 1-5 right now, but they're playing the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. They most likely will be 1-6 come Sunday. It's not an accomplishment to win this division. This is the worst division in football. The Steelers basically have the amount of wins that this whole division has combined. This division combined has 6 wins. The Steelers are 5-0. The Titans are 5-0. The Seahawks are 5-0. And then you see the point differential for this division. It's like -1, -180 or minus whatever it is. It's a disgrace. It's just a joke. But I want to get to these people who are getting on Carson Wentz, man, because ESPN ran a topic yesterday on First Take, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Should the Eagles, and they asked the question, should the Eagles regret paying Carson Wentz? Because there's this notion that if you pay a quarterback that you can't win. Once you pay a quarterback, you can't win. Once you pay a quarterback, then you can't acquire talent, essentially, because they take up a lot of cap space, yada, yada, yada. Well, that's not true, number one, because at the end of the day, the quarterback has to get paid. If you have a quarterback, you're going to pay the quarterback. It is what it is. If you have a franchise quarterback, you're going to pay them. So I don't have a problem with that. But what I have a problem with is people letting these GMs off the hook. That's what I have a problem with. And I'm not just talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm talking about league-wide. People are letting the GMs off the hook because it is your job to manage the salary cap. It's your job to acquire young talent. It's your job to sign free agents to keep the team stocked with talent. And the disservice and the disgrace. Now I'm gonna get back to the Eagles. The disservice and the disgrace that Howie Roseman has not only done Carson Wentz, but he's done Doug Peterson a disservice too. Because I don't know what you can't have any. I don't even know what realistic expectations you can have for Doug Peterson in this Eagles team when you have a 4-string left tackle, two third-string guards, and a third-string right tackle playing, and your leading receivers are Richard Rodgers, who's been on Lord knows how many teams. He's the 4th-string tight end. You have Hakeem Butler, who's a 5th-string tight end. You have Travis Fulgham, who is the number 1 receiver right now. He's from Old Dominion. You have Greg Ward, who's a former college quarterback converted wide receiver, has been cut by the Eagles numerous times and was on the practice squad. You have Boston Scott, who's a practice squad call-up. You have John Hightower, who's a 5th-round pick, and he's a rookie out of Boise State. I mean, what expectations could you possibly have for Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson with the talent that they're working with? This is the worst skill position players in the league. I haven't named even a competent starter. Like, oh, well, they're practice squad guys. They're in the NFL. So you're saying that, so you're expecting fringe NFL guys to compete against guys that are starters in the league? Guys that are barely in the league? You expect them to compete with actual competent starters that are in the league? Like, give me a break, man. Give me a break. And then we get to the receivers that Carson Wentz has played with and how he wrote. Like, Carson Wentz, he's had the worst skill position players 3 out of the 4 years. Pro Football Focus has rated them the worst receiver, rated the Eagles receivers the worst in the league for the 3 of the 4 years he's played. This is his 5th year. And some people say, oh, well, you got 2 tight ends. You got Ertz and Goddard. What's the problem? I'm going to get to that in a second. But let me just read you this. Wentz has completed passes to 23 wide receivers in his career. 11 of them, nearly half, have been on a practice squad at some point in their career, which means they're not good if you're on the practice squad. None of them have been to a Pro Bowl or had a 1,000-yard season since Wentz was drafted, i.e. Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson, the 2 main guys. 2 are currently on practice squads. 6 are on other teams. 2 are hurt. 5 are on the Eagles, but none of those 5 have started more than 5 games in a season since their current stint on the Eagles began. That's who he's been throwing to for 4.5 seasons. And what the heck do you expect this guy to do? People are expecting, this isn't even trying to make lemons out of lemonade. This is trying to make water into Chick-fil-A lemonade. You don't even have lemons. You don't even have lemons. You don't even have the ingredients to make competent lemonade. That's what this is right now. And then for those of you who want to say, oh, well, you have Ertz and you have Goddard. Well, number one, they're hurt right now. Ertz is a volume target. He's not Kelsey or Kittle. His yards after catch numbers are comparable to Jason Witten, who is one of the slowest tight ends in NFL history. And if you don't know who Jason Witten is, just Google him, please, and watch some of his highlights and watch how slow he runs. Ertz is a volume target, but he's not a run after catch guy. He's not Kelsey or Kittle. He's not on their level. I'm sorry. It's no disrespect. Ertz is going to be a Hall of Famer, but he's not on Kelsey or Kittle's level. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. Because if he was on that level, the Eagles would have paid him, but he's not. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. And I've never seen an NFL offense that's been successful built around the tight end. You can say the New England Patriots when they had Aaron Hernandez or Rob Gronkowski, but remember, they had Wes Welker and Julian Edelman drawing coverage. The Eagles don't have anyone else on the outside that can draw coverage. No one. You can't name one person on the outside that can draw coverage away. Not one person. So we're not even going to get into that. But you're looking at this. You're looking at that, and then you're looking at Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson, the 3rd and 6th highest cap hits on the team, and they're not even playing. Deshaun Jackson going into the game had played 16 out of 20 games in his Philadelphia Eagles tenure, and then Alshon Jeffrey has missed 12 out of the last 20 games. Like, it's just a disgrace. You're talking about doing a disservice. You're talking about the quarterback. What is Howie Roseman doing to improve this roster? And then when you're looking at the drafting again, the offensive players that he's drafted is just like, what? Andre Dillard, when you could have Marquise Brown. You draft J.J. Arcega-Whiteside when you could have had DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, Deontay Johnson, Terry McLaurin, Marquise Brown. Like, give me a break. Or even A.J. Brown for the Titans. Like, give me a break. How are you missing on all these players in the draft? And then you got Sharif Millers and Clayton Thorsons. And then this year, I mean, I like Jalen Reagor. This isn't a slight at him, but you've missed on Chase Claypool, who torched you. T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, Justin Jefferson is torching the league right now, probably top 5 in receiving yards with the Minnesota Vikings, who you could have picked and who I thought you were going to pick over Jalen Reagor. Once again, I don't have a problem with the Jalen Reagor pick, but he's hurt right now, so we don't even know what he can do. The Eagles' future wide receiver, we don't know what it looks like. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is a scrub. I'm sorry, he is not good. He's not. The guy came 4 games into the season. This guy had no receptions. He had the same amount of receptions as he had last year, 4 games into this season. 10 receptions. So he's not really good. And then you're looking at Jalen Reagor, but he's hurt, so we don't even really know what he can do right now. I'm sure he's going to be a good receiver, but we don't know what he can do right now. Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey are not going to be on this team next year. Zach Ertz most likely is going to get traded or he's going to get cut. So I'm looking at the wide receiver position. Then you're looking at practice squad guys like Travis Fulgham. Like, what? He's a nice story, but we don't know if he's a future foundational piece. The Eagles don't have any talent on this roster. And then you're looking at the second round pick, Jalen Hurts. The Eagles are trying to force him into the game plan and force him into the game to validate the fact that they took him, to validate him as a second round pick, because the Eagles for sure know that they can't sell us, the fans, that you took Jalen Hurts in the second round. He's not going to be on the field. So you have a second round pick that's effectively going to be inactive every game. Like, you can't sell the fans on that. So they're trying to force him into the game plan, force him into packages. But once again, I don't know why the Eagles even created this situation in the first place. I don't know why. They could have, if they wanted a backup quarterback, they could have easily signed one like Andy Dalton or Joe Flacco. I'm not saying those guys are good, but you could have a second round pick. You could have got a safety. You could have got a linebacker. You could have got another receiver. You could have got something that can actually contribute meaningful snaps to this team, not Jalen Hurts, who's getting in 3-4 snaps a game over like a 70 snap game. Like, that's not value in the second round. That doesn't make any sense. And so you're just looking at this stuff and I'm just like, man, it reminds me of what the Colts were doing with Andrew Luck. This is the Andrew Luck syndrome. The Colts for years could not surround Andrew Luck with an offensive line. Could not. They could not surround this man with an offensive line. They kept drafting all this other stuff, and they never invested in the offensive line or a running game for this guy. They were just relying on his sheer talent, and he was underappreciated in Indianapolis. I'm going to say it. Andrew Luck was underappreciated, because if he was appreciated the way he should have been, if they were taking care of him the way they should have been, he would still be the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts right now. But he took such a beating that this guy retired. He retired. At what age? 27, 28? Andrew Luck just couldn't take it anymore because they had failed to surround him with a competent offensive line. Not even a good offensive line, a competent one. The way I'm talking about the Eagles receivers, them being practice squad guys and all that, that was the Colts offensive line. Andrew Luck was working with the worst offensive line in the league year after year. And he was taking a beating and still throwing dimes and throwing touchdowns. Like I said, Carson Wentz, he's not playing great. He's not playing stellar. But I don't know how much you can really expect from him when he's playing with practice squad guys, 4th and 5th string tight ends. Practice squad guys literally signed up off the street at receiver and 5th and 6th round picks at receiver. What kind of talent are you giving this guy to work with? Him and Doug Peterson, Howie Roseman has done this. He's done this whole team a disservice, and he just gets to skate under the radar. No one gets to criticize him because Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz are the ones on the field, so you see their face. So the GM just skirts under the radar and skirts above reproach, and no one criticizes him because no one sees him. You see, if Howie Roseman was visible, people would be on his behind a lot more than they are. But everyone's running stories about, oh, should the Eagles replace Carson Wentz with Jalen Hurts? Is Doug Peterson the right coach for this team? Should they fire him after the season if the season goes off the rails type thing? No one, not enough people are talking about Howie Roseman and the disgraceful job he's done as a GM. Now you can say, oh, he won the Super Bowl. Oh, all the moves in 2017, he got y'all the Super Bowl. Yes, that was his one good year as a GM because he hit on every single free agent decision, every single one. That is not the norm for Howie Roseman, not the norm at all. He as we've seen, as I've chronicled, he's missed on almost everything. Everything minus 2017. You take that outlier year out because that was an anomaly. You watch the trend with Howie Roseman. He is an incompetent and inferior and disgraceful GM. It just is what it is. There's no other way to slice it. This guy is not good at his job. And the longer he stays with the Philadelphia Eagles, the more danger he's putting them in as far as their talent situation, as far as the future, because he hasn't gotten any foundational pieces for this team other than Carson Wentz and Miles Sanders and Dallas Goedert. Even the best player on the Eagles defense right now, who is Darius Slay, who they gave up a 3rd and a 5th round pick for, he's 29, going to be 30, and they gave him a contract extension. I'm sure Darius Slay is going to be good going into those years, but I'm just saying they have no foundational youth or youthful pieces on defense. Rodney McLeod, he's okay, but he's above 30. Fletcher Cox, he's not playing up to his contract, $22.8 million cap hit. Brandon Graham, he's nice, but he's nothing to write home about. Derek Barnett, he's not worth the price you paid for an edge rusher as a 1st-round pick. He had more penalties than sacks coming into the season, and he's been in the league for 4 years. Like, come on, give me a break. And then your linebackers, you have the least amount of cap space allocated to the linebacker position, and your linebackers are the worst in the league. Nathan Gary is a scrub. So you're just looking at this team. What hope do you have if you do? Realistically, if we sit back and look at it, all right, the Eagles win the division. What is the best case scenario when they get into the playoffs? What realistic expectations do you have once they get into the playoffs? What are they going to do? Because they got to the playoffs last year and they lost, and it cost them CeeDee Lamb. Because they would have let the Cowboys win the division, like I was saying. The Eagles, the CeeDee Lamb would have been right there for the taking. But the Dallas Cowboys got him instead. And we ended up with Jalen Reagor. Like I said, I'm not mad at that. But CeeDee Lamb was the best receiver in the league. Like I said, I'm sure Jalen Reagor is going to be a nice player, but we don't know because he's not playing. CeeDee Lamb's leading the league in slot receptions and slot yards. So he's clearly producing. We could have used him on the Philadelphia Eagles. But I'm just saying, what is the best case scenario for the Eagles when they get into the playoffs? This team, what are your expectations? You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. The last 8 years, the team that has represented the Super Bowl has had the number 1 or number 2 seed. And now the number 1 seed is more valuable than ever because only that team gets a bye. Now, granted, there's an extra playoff seed, so there's 7 seeds, but you don't want to be a wild card team. Wild card teams aren't making it to the Super Bowl. People say, oh, when you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. But someone brought up an interesting point yesterday on one of the podcasts I listened to. And they said if the Eagles get into the playoffs, they're not, and you think of it like the NCAA tournament, where there's 16 seeds, the Eagles are like a 14 seed. Yeah, sure, they could win it, but you know a 14 seed is most likely not going to the NCAA championship. That's the same thing with the NFL as far as the wild card. If you get the wild card, you're most likely not going to the Super Bowl. Most likely. Your chances are very slim to none. Let's just keep it real. So I just don't know what to make of all that. Eagles fans, I was hoping for a rebuild. The Eagles just stink up the joint, retool in 2021, fire the GM, find someone who can competently draft players, draft high, get some elite players. Since draft picks are being devalued this year, reload in 2021, get the players some experience, and in 2022 come back and compete. But nope, the Eagles want to win games, and now my worst fears come to reality. Because Andy Dalton, he's stinking up the joint. Clearly the Giants and the Washington football team they're bad, so they're not. You can't even have hope that they're going to win the division. This division is going to come down to the Eagles and the Cowboys. That's just what it boils down to. And who am I supposed to trust? What am I really supposed to trust in Dallas Cowboys when they're mired in mediocrity, they're mired in dysfunction, players calling out the coaches, when players over here busting coverages and getting run roughshod over for 69 yards, when the Arizona Cardinals are trying to run out the clock, just all types of effort and quit plays all over the Dallas Cowboys. They're just a mess right now. Their defense is atrocious. What am I supposed to believe? Dallas Cowboys, at least the Eagles are a functional franchise. They just have a terrible GM. The Dallas Cowboys, they have dysfunction written all over them. So what am I supposed to expect from them? They're not going to be able to beat the Eagles. They're not going to be able to win this division. So my worst fear is going to come to reality. The Eagles are going to win the division 6-9-1, 7-8-1 in some way, somehow, get into the playoffs. I can't even hold out hope that maybe they'll lose and not get into the playoffs. I can't even hold out hope for it. I had the Giants had me so excited, and then the last 6 minutes they choked the game away. And I'm just like, yep, here we are yet again. And then we play the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football in about 10, 11 days. Who knows if we win that game, but we don't know which Dallas Cowboys team is going to show up. And with their defense mired in just complete and inexcusable mediocrity, the Eagles are liable to put up points somehow, some way. Even though the Eagles offense struggles to put up points against the Dallas defense, it seems like everybody can put up points. They're struggling. Heck, even the New York Giants, who are averaging 11.8 points per game, put up 34. So the Eagles, they might put up 30. They might put up 30, even 40. Who knows? Because you just can't trust the Dallas Cowboys. So my worst fear has come to reality. The Eagles, some way, somehow, because they're a functional franchise and they have a starting caliber quarterback, are going to win this division, and Howie Roseman is going to get to keep his job, and the Eagles are going to be mired in mediocrity for the next few seasons because you just can't have any faith in Howie Roseman drafting anybody. You can't. I don't know what there's to feel good for about this organization or about this team. Only thing I can feel good about is we have Doug Pearson, we have Carson Wentz, but the people upstairs, they're just doing them a disservice, a flagrant disservice. And I just feel bad for them out there. I just feel bad for them because the expectations on them are high, but the expectations for the GM, they're just being swept under the rug. He's just out of sight, out of mind. So he's just escaping all criticism. So, that's that. But I just wanted to come on and say that, come on and highlight some things. But I appreciate you guys for listening. You can leave your comments, questions, concerns. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe as always. I need more subscribers, guys. I need y'all to hook me up. Come on, man. Come on. I need you guys. Share this with your friends, your family, anyone who's a sports fan, an Eagles fan, even if they're a Cowboys fan. Look, I talk about any team. I'll sit there and watch your team for 3 hours. I may not like your team, but I'll sit there and watch it. I watch the Dallas Cowboys all the time. I don't like them. I hate them. But I know I got a lot of Cowboys fans out there. So, hey, you got to do what pleases the fans. It is what it is. So come on, man. I need y'all to like. I need y'all to share. But most importantly, I need you to subscribe. Share this with your friends, your family, your coworkers, anyone who loves football. Football is the most popular sport in America. Someone's got to listen to people talk. So why not listen to me, Mr. AC? But until then, I appreciate you guys for listening. One love. I'm out. Have a good weekend.